Imagine this: you wake up one morning, feeling every bit as invigorated as the sun rising outside your window. The routine you used to dread, deciding on breakfast, planning your day, or mustering the motivation to exercise, has transformed into a seamless flow of energy and purpose. You've cultivated habits that support your well-being, creativity, and relationships, making each day not just another to check off the list, but a joyful opportunity to thrive. This scenario isn't a dream reserved for a select few. It's achievable for anyone willing to embrace it. The way we live our lives today is profoundly influenced by the habits we forge, often without even realizing it. These habits can either uplift us or drag us down. The truth is, small, seemingly insignificant changes can pave the way for monumental life transformations, and they start with the smallest of adjustments. The world often inundates us with instant gratification promises and get-rich-quick schemes that ultimately lead to disappointment. However, the real essence of transformation lies in the practice of doing small things consistently over time. Think about it. A tiny seed grows into a mighty oak tree, but that growth takes time, nurturing, and patience. To illustrate this concept, consider Sarah, a close friend of mine. Sarah had always struggled with her weight, often fluctuating between dieting and falling back into old habits. One day, driven by the desire for change, she decided to focus not on the goal of losing 20 pounds, but on creating simple changes to her daily routine. Instead of overhauling her entire diet and drastically limiting her calories, she started with one small action: incorporating a glass of water into her breakfast routine every morning. It was a simple habit, but it was the first step. This led her to realize how much she enjoyed hydration, and over time, she began making healthier eating choices without the pressure of extreme dieting. By focusing on that one small change, she discovered that her cravings for sugary beverages diminished, making it easier to integrate more fruits and vegetables into her meals. Within months, without the stress of counting calories or obsessing over every bite, Sarah lost weight, gained energy, and felt fantastic. The key takeaway? By making it obvious to herself to drink a glass of water each morning, she was taking a step that reinforced her commitment to being healthier. So, how do we systematically create good habits while dismantling bad ones? Understanding our natural behavioral tendencies is crucial. Habits form in loops consisting of a cue, a routine, and a reward. This loop is what we must interrupt and reshape to foster positive habits that support our growth. Let's explore this further. Imagine you're winding down for the night, but instead of following your bedtime rituals, you're pulled into the black hole of your smartphone screen. You start browsing social media, watching videos, or mindlessly checking the latest news. 1 hour turns into 2, and suddenly, it's way past your bedtime. You wake up the next morning feeling groggy, unproductive, and annoyed with yourself. This is an all-too-common scenario that so many people experience. Yet it's crucial to acknowledge that this is a result of habitual behavior driven by specific cues. To break this cycle, the first step is to recognize the cues. For instance, is your phone within reach of your bed? Is that the trigger pulling you into the abyss of screen time? Upon realizing this, you can take deliberate measures. Here's a simple tactic: charge your phone in another room altogether. By physically removing the cue, you reduce the likelihood of falling into this habit. You'll find that when it's time for bed, you're able to engage in a more enriching activity, like reading a book or meditating, moving you closer to the identity you want to adopt. Let's take a moment to discuss identity. The concept of identity-based habits means that our actions reflect who we want to be, not just what we want to achieve. Once you start viewing yourself through the lens of the type of person you want to become, your motivations shift dramatically. If you identify as a healthy individual, it becomes easier to make choices that align with that identity. Instead of saying, "I want to lose weight," you start saying, "I am someone who takes care of their body and makes healthy choices." When I decided to improve my reading habits, I was initially overwhelmed by the sheer number of books I wanted to dive into. Instead of setting a lofty goal, I resolved to read just one page before bed each night. It may seem trivial, but starting with just a page made reading feel less daunting. Gradually, I upped that number to 5 pages, and eventually to a chapter. Before I knew it, I was closing the gap between myself and the person I wanted to be, a dedicated reader. This shift in identity doesn't just affect your reading habits, it alters how you walk through the world. Consider how belonging to a community can amplify your journey. Think about the collective energy and support present in a group of like-minded individuals, whether they're a book club, fitness class, or a hobby group. The presence of others on a similar path not only motivates you, but holds you accountable, weaving your identity into that community fabric. Communities can uplift us, especially when we aim to break away from negative habits. For instance, joining a fitness class greatly changed my perception of exercise. Instead of viewing it as a chore, being surrounded by people who shared their own fitness journeys made it enjoyable. We cheered each other on, swapping tips and forging friendships. These connections fortified my commitment to fitness because I no longer just exercised for myself. I exercised for the group, for our shared ambitions. Let's talk now about the practical aspect of habit formation. It begins with the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. These laws form a framework that allows you to re-engineer your habits effectively. First, to make it obvious, consider how you can environment-proof your new, beneficial behaviors. Perhaps you want to start meditating daily. Designate a specific space for it, with a cushion and a calming atmosphere, making it easy for you to remember each day. Next, to make it attractive, you could explore pairing a new healthy habit with an enjoyable activity. Want to start running? Create a playlist of your favorite upbeat songs to energize you, or reward yourself with a delicious smoothie afterward. To make it easy, set the bar low. Imagine you're trying to develop a daily writing habit. Instead of aiming for an entire chapter every day, commit to just 5 minutes of writing. That alone lowers the barrier to starting. The goal is to reduce friction, so that when it's time to engage in your new habit, you can do so with minimal resistance. Finally, make it satisfying. Use a habit tracker to visually display your progress. The act of crossing something off a list can evoke a sense of accomplishment that reinforces your behavior. If you're someone who enjoys rewards, treat yourself to something small, whether that's enjoying a favorite snack or indulging in a leisurely activity, once you hit a milestone. Now that we've explored the mechanics of habits, it's crucial to highlight one of the most nefarious traps we often fall into, the all-or-nothing mindset. It's easy to slip into this mode, especially when we set lofty goals that require immense effort. The reality is that there will be days when we falter, and that's perfectly okay. Instead of abandoning ship altogether, allow for flexibility and compassion toward yourself. Acknowledge the setback, but don't let it define your journey. On my own path to fitness, there were days when I missed a workout or indulged in a guilty pleasure treat. Initially, I would punish myself with guilt and shame until I learned to embrace those moments as part of the journey. Life is not a straight path. It twists and turns. Recognizing that fluctuations are normal can ensure sustained motivation in the long run. As you navigate the terrain of habits, keep in mind that celebrating progress can be as vital as the habits themselves. Set aside time to reflect on your achievements. Perhaps you've hit a month of daily journaling, or you've made it through a week of daily walks. Whatever it is, treat each success as a stepping stone toward the person you want to become. This brings us to the final thought. Take your time. Change doesn't reflect speed, it reflects consistency. Embrace the process of small, incremental changes that build momentum. As you start to weave your desired habits into the fabric of your life, pay attention to how you feel and recognize the subtle shifts in your mindset. The power is in your hands. Ultimately, you hold the keys to your destiny. You have the power to create the life you've always wanted, one small, incremental change at a time. So many individuals have seen extraordinary transformations not through radical shifts, but by mastering the art of habit, by choosing to invest in themselves daily, patiently cultivating their identities. As you read this, remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So take that step today. Write down one habit you want to change, and then outline just one simple action you can take to begin. It can be something as small as drinking an extra glass of water or dedicating 5 minutes to stretching in the morning. The choice is yours. Will you take the path of small, incremental changes, or will you wait for a magical solution? Reflect on what's been holding you back. You can make the choice to reframe your identity, to craft your environment, and embrace community. Take a moment each day to remind yourself that powerful change is not reserved for the select few, but is available to everyone, including you. Each small decision you make today contributes to the larger narrative of your life. So what are you waiting for? Take the first step today and watch as the ripples of change spread throughout your life, transforming your reality one habit at a time. Life is a beautiful collection of moments shaped by decisions. Choose wisely, proceed with intention, and remember, you have the power to unlock a life filled with energy, joy, and accomplishment. Start small. Start now. The world is waiting for you to embrace the extraordinary potential within you.